LeBron, so you had 2 games to watch. It looked like you were having some fun, especially watching THG. Just want to get your thoughts on the kid. And this is coming off Wesley Matthews' comments where he said, like, one of the cool things about THG is that he's got one of the greatest players to touch a basketball. And I think I could presume he meant you to be there. And so just wondering your take on the whole thing with Taylor.
I think Taylor is first of all, I mean, obviously the basketball, we can see what he's capable of doing. For him to be 20 years old, he hasn't even scratched the surface yet of what he's going to be. But the kid can flat out play. I saw it about 3.5, 4 years ago. I was watching a high school basketball game and I happened to catch Simeon playing, and I told our agent at the time, it's now Taylor's agent, Rich Paul, told my agent, I said he need to take a look at this kid, Taylor Horton-Tucker, that's at Simeon. I think, the kid is super talented. This is like 4 years ago. Long story short, I mean, obviously, you see what he's doing now. And he's going to continue to get better and better and better, as the days goes on. He get an opportunity to practice against us, the guys as veterans and things of that nature. So he's just going to continue to improve, and he's going to do some really good things in this league for a long time.
Dave? Hey, LeBron, there's some similarities you could draw between where you were in your career in 2010 and Giannis Antetokounmpo coming into this offseason. Could you see how tough perhaps that decision was for him, and how did you react to the news today that he re-upped for the max extension?
I don't know if I can relate to his situation. All of our situations are different, totally different, actually. They've tried to build something great for him, and obviously they did enough to keep him there. And I think it's great that he's staying there. He's committed to that franchise, and and that's what it's all about. So, but I don't think my situation and his situation, it's no similarities, and it's totally different.
Ben Waggy.
Yeah, Rob. I wanted to ask you about House 330 and kind of how that came together and what you're kind of hoping to accomplish with it.
Well, how it came together is us continuing to want to listen to our families. We listen to our kids, we listen to our families and what their needs are. And we're just not settling for, what we've done in the past. We want to continue to grow. And we believe House 330 is the next step on providing, the future for our kids and for our families. 10 years has been a place that I grew up going to. Used to have a lot of banquets there as a kid, either when I was playing Little League football or Little League basketball, all the way up through high school. So I know how important that landmark is to our city and to the city of Akron. And for us to be able to take over that venue and create a space for our families and our kids and people that want to come and see what we're doing, I think it's amazing. I think Chase and Old El Paso, Dick's Sporting Goods, and so many other partners that we have on just believing in us and being able to create something that our families and our kids will last forever. It's one of the best things I've done and we've done as a foundation, and we're going to continue to build off of that because our kids they need it. This is how you create generational change, and we want to continue to do that for our community.
Yeah, LeBron, obviously this entire training camp process is pretty quick and rushed, but for you in these last 2 preseason games, the last of which has been described by Frank as sort of a dress rehearsal, are there some benchmarks or are there some sort of goals that you set that you say, hey, I want to be able to do this, or I want to feel this with the team before we get in the regular season that you're trying to meet?
No, I mean, actually, I just want to continue to, if it's tomorrow, in Phoenix, if it's Friday, I want to just continue what the ball club has been doing. I mean, they've been sharing the ball, moving the ball, playing at a really good pace and trying to defend and rebound. And, we just want to, pick up back where we where we left off in the bubble, but also enhance that with the new guys. I mean, I I'm gonna do the same thing. Whatever it takes for our ball club to win, I'm gonna bring my game. You guys know what my game provides for this ball club, and and I'm gonna produce that every night.
We've got time for two more. Bill Orm.
Hey, LeBron, sweet hat.
I appreciate it.
You put a lot of pride last year in being able to lead the league in assists at age 35 and taking on a new role, playing point guard for that team. Obviously, a different year, different roster. Do you have a sense yet of whether you should take on that same amount of playmaking with this team this year? And what are kind of your thoughts on that moving through a year when you had such a limited offseason?
Yeah, every year causes for whatever that challenge presents itself, Bill. So if it presents for me to be the primary ball handler and also try to lead the league in assists or just make sure I am being the forefront of getting guys involved, then I can take that responsibility as we've seen last year. If it does not happen, if our team don't need it this year, then that's absolutely fine as well. We can, as you've seen through the first two preseason games, being able to facilitate through Mark, at that high post area is going to give us another playmaker. Dennis is going to give us another playmaker. So, it doesn't matter, for me. Whatever, the team needs for me to do this year. Last year calls for me to be the primary ball handler, to make sure I get guys involved, to make sure I keep the ball moving and things of that nature, and it worked well for us. But every year is its own challenge. So this challenge could be different. And whatever the coaching staff or the players come to me and they say, okay, we need you to score more than you did last year, or we need you to try to assist more than you did last year, I'll try to do that. Or you need you to defend more. Whatever it is, I just want to win. And, that's all it's about for me.
Just want to bring that Turner.
Ron, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, B.
Good. Look, I'm just wondering, what motivates you to get involved in your community projects, and how gratifying is it to do that and to hear other athletes speak up about that and also want to be involved in their communities?
I was literally, I know you hear this a lot when people do community events, things of that nature, and they say, the notion of I was one of those kids, but I was literally one of those kids. My mom was literally one of those parents. I come from a single parent household. I come from the inner city. We come from not much at all. My mom didn't work. She was the only parent. She was 16 years old, walking through Central High School in Akron, Ohio, pregnant as a high school sophomore. So and then unfortunately, my grandmother passed away when I was 3 years old. My mom was 19, and so we've been through, I guess, what you would say, hell and back. But we never wavered. We may have question days on, is there going to be a tomorrow for us, and how we're going to make it to the next day. For me personally as a kid, looking at my household at a young age, I realized that I had to be more than just my mom's son. I had to be, kind of like a big brother of a family that didn't even have siblings. I had to be more than what I was at that time because my mom just needed that support. So I literally know what these kids are going through because I was that kid growing up in the late 80s and early 90s and through the 90s. So it's easy for me to understand when they're talking to us and saying these are the things that they need. These are the things that will help them get through. These are the things that will help a better future for them. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that I did it on my own because I didn't. I had that support. When I started to play sports, I had coaches, Little League coaches, Frank Walker, Coach Drew Joyce, Bruce Kelker, Willie Earl, a lot of these coaches when I was a kid who saw me as a talent, but they also saw me as a young man, and they was like, okay, this guy can be, more than just a guy that could play sports. We need to have the support for him. And then I had my friends that, the Drew Joyces and the Willie McGee, Sheon Cotton, Frank Walker, Brandon Weems, Romeo Travis. I had those guys, that became my brothers and helped me get to this point where I am today. And you add on Maverick and Rich and Randy. I've had that support. So when you have that support, you can tap into some things that you never believed that you can tap into. And that is my opportunity and my responsibility to my community to give them support. Because I would love that at some point in time throughout their lives, they could be 25 or 30 or 35, come to me or come to our foundation and be like, listen, you guys may not remember me, but I was that kid in the 3rd or 4th grade that came from this school, and now I'm a doctor at the Cleveland Clinic, you know, or I'm a nurse at the Cleveland Clinic, or I've went off and I've been in Africa for the last 5 years and come up with anything. I've designed this. I'm an architect, and I'm building buildings all over the world. Like seriously, that would be incredible for me to hear. I mean, and you know, we just, like I said, I don't know if it was a couple weeks ago, the last time I did media, we got 28 kids in our foundation right now, 18 going off to Kent State, and 9 going to Akron U, and that's just right now. You know, that's received college scholarships. So I just want to create change, man, for the greater good. You know, if you could create change with one family, hopefully it could trickle to 2 go to 4, 4 to 8, 16, 32. You guys know the math, and obviously you could tell I'm very passionate about that, man. It needs to be done. It needs to be done in our communities, and I'm proud as hell that I can be an inspiration to some other athletes that want to create that same change, B.